Wait till you get home, bud.
Really excited about this next speech. It's from the best man, Blake Edgell. Take it away, Blake.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who tagged along for the free food and drink. I've written a little speech here. I was informed before I did my speech that the best way to get through it is to picture everybody naked. I'd like to tell you that you're all looking fabulous. I was given a quote too, not by Tiger Woods, but by an old boss of mine, an Indian fella who said that he heard an interview with another old Indian guy who was asked, he'd been married for 65 years or something to that nature, and was asked how he'd managed to have such a long and happy marriage, and he said that he splits the day into two halves. For the first half of the day, my wife gets to do whatever she wants, and for the second half, I get to do whatever she wants. And I think that's something that you've got to look forward to. I've written down a few nice things on this big bit of paper about Adrian, since I'm supposed to talk about him apparently. Good things, it says here. For one, he's my brother. That's a pretty good thing, and I love him. He is a kind, loving, funny, caring bloke. He's a good friend. He's good at fishing. He's not a bad golfer. He's pretty good, actually. And that's all I got, so that'll bend that. I also wrote down a couple of things that some of you might not know about Adrian. You'll excuse me for a second.
Oh boy. We're going to be here all night.
Here it is.
Next month.
I was kind of hoping there'd be a bit of a lectern, but anyway, if you can hold that up for me.
That's nice.
Growing up, Adrian was a little bit of a loser. He was pretty quiet. Jonathan and I, on the other hand, were not. Where is he?
Righty.
Hey, mate. During high school, actually he was a loser during primary school, but during high school, Adrian joined the Trenchcoat Mafia and used to get around at school in one of those big, heavy... Actually, I think you were doing part of that too, Jamie, so stop smiling.
Mr. Rose was involved. He was involved.
His favourite CD back then, and his favourite band, was none other than the British group The Spice Girls, who I do believe he still cherishes to this day.
They look pretty good.
They are
Yeah, they are not bad.
Here in your heart.
Have you got the Spice Girl?
We're going to put some of that on later.
That's sad.
As we got a little older, things started to change, and I remember having a discussion with Adrian one day, bragging about the first time that I'd tried a cigarette. I was about 17. Adrian informed me that he had tried his first cigarette with a fella from school called, what was that bloke that worked at the crematorium?
Jonathan Murphy.
Jonathan Murphy, yes, at the tender age of 10. This started a long list of faults in his smoking habits, including the one day when he and I were at home by ourselves. Mum and Dad had driven out for the day. I'd had a couple of alcoholic beverages, and Adrian, at the age of about 15, decided that we'd drive to the local pub, which was about half an hour away, to get a pack of cigarettes. Adrian drove the whole way and back, and bought cigarettes from inside of the pub. Jonathan informs me, and he's shown me the evidence of this T-shirt that Adrian has with a hole in the pocket, where Adrian was busted having a cigarette at school. Tried to drop the cigarette down to hide the evidence. It fell in his pocket and caught fire. Amongst other things. Let me tell you about Dad's gun. Dad's got a very nice Bruno 22. It's got a lovely scope. Adrian was the first to break into the gun cabinet, and we've had many shooting adventures since.
Thank you, Blake.
Adrian has also recently acquired a pellet gun of his own, for which he wishes to blame me for shooting Dad's weather station. And after last night's conversations over a few beers, I have deemed that it was Jonathan that was responsible for that.
Right.
No, I'm actually lying. It was me. By accident. It was by accident. Seriously, I was aiming at some bird or something, and anyway. I didn't actually think I shot. I'd like to tell you about a few things that Adrian and Jonathan and myself have done as a group. Because Adrian doesn't do a lot by himself. He's pretty well behaved, so we've had to lure him into the dark side. There was one day that I had a van, and we were driving along the road. I'm going to try and make this pretty short. Well, am I going over time? I haven't got too many things here. It's not that big a list. We saw this poor defenceless sheep on the side of the road. Jonathan and Adrian were shrewd, jumped out of the van and put him in. We took him back to Mum and Dad's place and drowned him. Upon which my first year butcher's apprenticeship skills came in, gutting and carving this lamb, and I can tell you that Adrian still brags that it was the best lamb stew we've ever had. And Dad, just quietly, if you're wondering who busted your ute, it was Adrian.
No, it was
Now that Adrian is married, and some things can come out that don't really matter, I was told recently by an unnamed source that back in my early days of relationship with Kate, who is now my fiancée, and I'm very proud to announce that we're getting married soon, but that's not about tonight. I was told that Adrian had a bit of a crush on my girlfriend.
No.
Is that true?
Nah, you got that one wrong.
Okay. Some of you may remember the Mentos ad that was on about 12 or 18 months ago, involving a big set of nipples.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the person, whoever the person was that got that role, was very lucky that Adrian didn't audition for the same role, as those of you who may not have seen him without a shirt might not realise that along with his reasonable size ears, he has a cracking set of nipples. This is after years of bragging about my huge nose, Jonathan's helicopter pad on his head, and my pizza face. Finally, I'd like to end with something that I've put down the bottom here, which I only remembered today, and it goes back to when we were very young. Adrian was always sucking up to me because I used to steal his friends off him. And so at night, when we used to share a bunk bed,
Oh, you would.
he used to suck on my big toe. And I liked it. And that concludes my speech for this evening. You can keep that. I'd like you to charge your glasses with whatever they may have in them this evening. And I do believe it's my job to propose a toast to the bridesmaids. So would you all say cheers? Cheers! Cheers!
Big ears.
Cheers, big ears.
Kerm's next.
I love you.
Thank you, Blake. Very well done. Very well done. There's some things there I won't